Sure. Say that again.
Will you have to restart your recording or your
I did.
meeting?
I did. I did. I
Okay.
just did it. That's why I said hello a bunch of times so I could have a hello overlap. You see, I want to not start with saying hello because yes, it is a big hello to say hello to Sher. It is a
Yeah,
great joy. It is a great joy.
thank you.
It is, yes, always, 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 just
Um,
celebrating the magicalness of Sher. And, there you go.
thank you.
Oh, look at Sher's face. It's more round with joy today.
Yeah. I don't know.
Who can say like more round?
I know, I just got to share what I see, I just think that's the
Hey,
perception
come
of
on.
me. I just
Who
see
can
more joy and
say
it just,
who can say to a woman that you look more your face look more round today? Come on.
more round with joy, I said. More round with joy. Sure heard what I said. Sure heard what I said. Sure heard what I said. More round with joy. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yes, I celebrate all forms of joy. Everyone, I don't discriminate against. But is it
No,
true? Is it true there is more joy today, sir?
I probably so because I have been like just bumping along and getting all my stuff done the way I want to. So,
Well, at least the joy came out now. It may not have been there before this moment, but it came out now. So.
no,
I,
I was there too. Yeah, I was there earlier. I just been kind of chill and getting my stuff done.
Good,
Just
good,
taking care of business. That's all.
fabulous, fabulous,
Um,
fabulous. And it's working out nicely. The business is working out.
um, well, kind of for now. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get those bumps in the road like people I had yesterday.
Right,
That was She was being super selfish.
right, right. Gotcha. But
You
you
know,
you you debumpified really well, did you not?
yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Not
I took care of
delumpified,
business.
debumpified. We have a new addition, Beena. Debumpifying.
Yeah, debumpifying. You know,
Debumpifying.
the thing is in the past, my old self, like even last year, I would have, as soon as she sent me the text message that she thought that I was rude, and if I that what did she say? The text message said, she goes, "You were rude to me. You didn't have a right to ask why I need that many masks. And if you don't want my business, I'll take it elsewhere." My message to her was, "Please come pick up your items. They'll be on the front porch."
Brilliant.
Left it at that. I wasn't, and then she said something else, and I just sent her back a smiley face, and it's like, "Thank you."
There you go. There you
So
go.
ah,
Debumpifying in action.
now
That's it.
year,
That's it.
last year what I would have been to have said, "Oh no, I'm sorry. Yes, I'll do all these.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I would have bent over backwards." But it's like, you know what? No, my limit is 2 per person, not. And she kept increasing the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah. So you do have a right to say it because you are the one who's making it. You have
Yes.
every right to say it. You have
Yep.
every right.
Yep. So I felt really good about my decision to just say, "You know what? I don't care. So what? I'm losing $200. I don't care.
Right.
It's worth my peace of mind."
Right.
yes.
Because for whatever reason, she thinks that I can do that many in a day, all 40. She wanted 40 total.
Wow.
Like, no, I don't think so. And she had
Wow.
already bought 20 from me. So my thoughts are they're selling them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have to be. It has to be selling them.
Yep. Well, I guess you could just Google, masks for sale in wherever you are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. But you know what? I
Oh,
washed my
Connie,
hands.
that's right. You in
Connie, yeah.
Circustown. That's right.
Yep. I washed my hands of her. So
There you go. And how easy was that?
extremely.
Isn't that something? Now, when
Extreme.
we're looking at belief shifts, remember you were saying I never would have believed that I could come to a point where I could have self-trust.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know
Now,
what?
right? I mean, you at some point, long ago, you had this thing that you never thought you could. You never believed that you could self-trust, right?
Oh, that's true.
Right. And
That's
you also
true.
might likewise have never believed that you could deal with people in this way easily,
Uh-huh.
right?
No, I always let Larry do it, because he was always
Right.
the peacekeeper and everything. He was always the protector, and it's like, well, I'm gonna have to take care of myself now.
Right. Right. But it's the easy part, right? That's the point I want to focus on, from
Yeah.
a real emphasis to say, whoa, I did that and it was easy.
Yes.
Wow, man,
Very.
yay, this is happy dance time, right? To
Yeah.
say that this is a celebration of progression, in other words, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, 'cause I didn't have.
Profound, profound, profound celebration of progression.
I.
Sher is in a different world. Sher is a different person.
Oh, absolutely, I am. I didn't even have to think twice any of those decisions anymore about standing up for myself, protecting myself, or what it is I want. I don't think twice about it now.
Exactly.
I'm not
Exactly.
reacting.
It's
I'm
become
just,
innate. It's become
yeah,
innate.
I'm just feeling it and I'm going, hey, you know what? That is wrong and done.
There you go.
Not going to argue the point. Done.
Right.
So,
It's a waste of energy. That's profound energy management right there. It's like, what do you need to
well,
waste energy on all this nonsense
yeah,
for?
I got to give you a quick little history on this and I'll make it very, very brief.
Oh, sure. No worries. Take your
2
time.
weeks ago, she had, when the masks were first being made a few weeks ago, she contacted me, she and her husband, and they ordered 10 adults and 10 children. I thought, well, okay, so they want one for what, every day of the week or something, who knows?
Mm.
So, they called me the next day, are the masks ready to pick up? And it's like, no, I have to make them. So I got them to pick them up. It took a couple of days because I was still working with patterns. So I got everything done. Well, they turned around the same day they picked them up and paid me and called me up and asked for their money back because they said, well, they just don't fit us.
Huh?
I told you guys how to fit them, but whatever, I was concerned about, them making a bad name for me. So they came
Yeah.
and brought the masks back and picked up their money. All right.
Wow. This is the same people now.
Same people. So then she calls me back a week later. I really can't find anybody to make a mask that fits. Could you please make those that you made for us? And we'll just go ahead and figure out how to, get the elastics to fit. Well, I had to think on that. It's like, okay, if you bring your materials and all the supplies, then I'll make them for you because right now I'm very limited.
Mm.
So they called me, they brought the stuff, and then the very next day she's like, can I pick up the masks? No. No, now you can pick up your fabric. So I'm glad I didn't have to go through with working with her again.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's already your first clue there,
Yeah.
that this weirdness. If you can't figure out how to make a mask fit that everybody else in the world can do, they must have felt there was some point that this made the masks unsellable or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm selling the exact same ones up at the store uptown through the nursing uniform, the uniform supply store.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes and picks up 10, every 3 or 4 days, and
Wow.
is charging full price, and he doesn't keep any money. He just
Wow.
collects it all from me.
Wow.
So I thought that was really pretty awesome that he did that.
I mean, that is real appreciation. And sure, again, it's not that you are exploiting or taking advantage of the situation, but
Right.
the universe provides for us in a multitude of different ways. For
Mm-hmm.
you not to use this opportunity to make a living and then to have that money to spend on everything else, like I explained before, it's just
Mm-hmm.
going to necessitate you taking advantage of charity. So you actually have an ethical responsibility to make a profit on your masks.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, how much? That's a different issue. Excessive, of course, that's a different story. But you still have an ethical responsibility to make a profit, not to charge for them, but to make a profit on them. Right?
Right.
This is a huge deal. This is not a simple thing. And for us earnest good people, this is not simple in the least, right? It's not an easy thing for us to do stuff like this. But
No,
we have to be aware and say, oh, okay, I have an ethical responsibility to charge to make a profit, right?
Yeah.
Which you are making a profit on them, and I hope so. You're making a good profit, and you get to
I think I
use
am.
this
I
time,
think I am.
right? Because for as much as you can now assist your independence coming into the future,
Mm-hmm.
you are enabling somebody else who doesn't have this opportunity. You're enabling them to partake in the charity, right?
Right.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You see the logic? So yeah. So you have an ethical responsibility. It's not an obvious logic, but it's a very profound one and a very necessary one, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Just so you know.
I think so.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
You know, this, it's so strange how things work out. I mean, maybe as humans, we can make anything fit to anything, but I think this little situation really leans into session 1 of module 7, insisting on extracting the more.
Yes,
I
exactly.
really, I don't know, I just made that connection. That, and then my little Robin out back, he's been busy. I've been taking videos of her every day.
Oh, wow.
She's been busy. She's really got a good start on her nest.
Oh, good. And that's what you're doing. That Robin is telling you, sure, every mask you make is robining.
That's true.
Remember we added robining to Dictionary of Power?
Yes, it is. Yep, and it's still there. Robining is still there.
You are busy robining. You are busy robining now, and it is absolutely necessary. You know, you have a responsibility to take care of CJ, and you also have a responsibility to do this with being able to do so with as much independence as you possibly can, to not have to rely on charity, right?
Exactly.
So, and none of those doctors or nurses are working for free. Well, I shouldn't say that. Well, they might be, but you see what I mean? I mean, they're still getting paid for what they're doing, you know. So we need this. We need this. If we don't get paid, we are being unethical, right? Because it means we are relying on somebody else to take care of us. No, when we get paid, we are relying on ourselves, and this we have to do. So we can't feel guilty about getting paid for what we do. Says somebody who has a hell of a hard time charging for his product, but okay, see, I'm learning too. I have to apply. So.
I know. I'm the same way. I think any of us with good intent and
we struggle. But that's why I mention it now, because this is a big deal, you know. And when we realize this and become aware of it, then it all starts to shift and it all starts to fall into place. And, you know, so very exciting, very exciting, very, very, very exciting. Just love it, just love it, just love it. So it's a very big deal. Yeah. So where are you now? Are we on module 1? Module 7, session 1?
Well, yeah. I did all 3 sessions, but I haven't gone over them with you. It was
that's what I mean in terms of what we're doing with us. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Another really, really good one. I thought. Well, they all are, but I have my favorite.
Yes, we all do. We all have those that impact us more. Correct.
Yes. This one, my the repeat back was interesting. I mean, it was very brief, but I also took the time to write out all of the ways that we insist on extracting the more.
Oh, let's hear all of this. I don't care if it takes us 6 weeks to get through all of this. I want to hear it all.
Well, first off, you know, that of course, insisting that we extract the more, which it implies that there always is more.
And extract, yes.
And for me, how I used to do it was I would think of something and I would come to one simple resolution that seemed to work, or, you know, in a rush. Everything was rushed. It always seemed like I never took my time at anything. So sometimes people would say, hey, you know, there are other options. Well, no, there's not. This is the only one that came to me, so it must be the only one.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just sharing my crepe there, and I'm making. It actually is coming out as intended. So, sorry, carry on, Sue. Sounds sure. I'm sorry.
So, yes, I know there is more to everything. More to me, more to the story, more to life, more to come. The one that I didn't quite understand with, or it wasn't really resonating with me.
I love these.
Which one? Number 2, where it says by implication we can access the more.
I think it's too simple for you. It's just too duh. You're thinking there's a moreness to that when it's just the simple obviousness that we can.
Okay. Well, because I always figured it's like, well, we can. So
exactly. But right, exactly. But sure, think back in your life. There was a point in your life when it wasn't a duh.
No.
Right.
No.
That's the point of it. It's really making the obvious obvious. There was a point in your life when it wasn't a duh that you can extract the more.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't always a duh.
Okay.
You've made it into a duh, and this is again celebration of progression, right?
There you go. Yes.
Ah.
Celebrating all over today, including in the
So it
sunshine.
just super duh, super duh. I love it.
Nice.
I love it that I love that you asked, because it's like, but where's the Moya? It's like, so duh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Someone
That's
turned in, I'm
awesome.
like, what am I missing?
Yeah, but that's
There's
awesome.
some deep
That's awesome.
embedded
I
meaning.
love that. I love that. Yeah,
Um,
that particular session really breaks things down into their most simplest components.
it
You
does.
know, so
It does.
that's why it's really taking it to that granular level. Which is very cool. It's very cool. I really enjoy
Oh,
it. I like it.
okay. Hold those thoughts. I need to call the vet back real
No
quick.
problem. No problem. No problem.
Okay.
We're holding, and we're gonna celebrate breakfast here. So it's
Okay.
all fun. All fun.
All right. I will be back shortly.
Okay.
So we can figure out
All right.
how to. Where's my end meeting?
No, don't end meeting. Just. Oh, you can just come back. Oh, unless you need to. But all right, we'll be here. We'll stay here. You can go. Okay, so you can come
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
Never
Because I
mind.
got
Never mind.
to
Never
close
mind.
that.
Ignore me.
So,
Ignore me.
well, let me see.
You see, Beena?
Oh, yes.
That's looking more like a crepe, right? Or what we would
Yes.
call a pancake. Real pancakes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That's more what I'm intending. Because you need to be able to roll it up, right? Right, Beena?
Yes.
I mean, that's the point of it, to roll it, and then you get the cheese melts inside there. And okay, I'm gonna roll it around the sausage, which it's very nice. Make that little blanket of things. So let's go say hello to the world while we wait for Sher. Say hello to the world. Hello world. Hello world. Hello. Hello world. Hello world. Oh, I see sunshine. Sunshine being busy. Sunshine being domestic. See if Sunshine sees me. Say hello. Hello, Sunshine. I actually came out to say hello to the Sunshine. I said, oh, there's actual Sunshine to say hello to. So yeah, I came out to say hello to the world, and I get to say hello to Sunshine. So I'm on Zoom, so you can say hello to the people on Zoom. Brilliant. Let's look
Hello.
at the world, Beena. Yeah, it's too far. So I don't think she
Yeah.
sees. But look at how the world is out here. There's again, this pauseness. But today the pause is very different. When they use that pregnant pause, the expression pregnant pause, something coming.
Yes.
It's not quite there yet. But so, that's usually when something is just kind of about to happen, about to fall into place. But no, this is the beginnings of something coming. Very, very early start of it. That's what I'm feeling today from the world. That's what I'm feeling today. And that's something, Beena.
Yes.
Let me switch around.
Sue a message. She left a message that okay, when I can be here, so just tell
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So when we're done with Sher, we'll say. So
Okay.
yeah, just message her and say yes. We'll let you know as soon as we're done with Sher, and then we come back and connect you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, she can come now, but I don't know how long Sher is going to be.
No, I don't want to just
Yeah.
say that because I was feeling that yesterday that yes, she wants to be and
Correct.
she wants to have her own time, which is good. Like
I'm
today,
listening,
I,
Beena. Just
I
give me 1 second, real quick. Sorry, one moment, just one moment. I have to take the headset off to take my sweater off, my jersey off. This is a jersey, not a sweater. Sorry, that's what I call it. Jersey. Jersey, not a sweater. I don't really know what a sweater is.
okay.
Different to a jersey. All right, I'm listening. Yes, yes. So yeah. So just send her. I haven't had a chance to send to her to say that.
Okay.
So yeah, just say yes. We'll let you know as soon as we're done with Sir. That would be an excellent time because I am keen to hear from Sue. That would be really
Of course, but see, today's Erica session, she was alone, and we get really more out of it
great. I know.
because the mood was set to her according to
Correct.
her mood.
Correct.
So more things comes out. Uh, I feel that it is better. And
Oh yeah.
Sue is here, her
Yes.
energy, her specific mood, and things comes out more for her.
Beena,
Yes.
yes, I agree with you, and that is, in general, that is preferable. But also, when we understand that, when we look at this in a little bit of a different context, the balance is good. Yes, in general, it is more ideal, to be able to give full attention to somebody for the entire time. But also when we see that, wow, sometimes when we have the multi sessions, that is incredible value again. So it all depends, it varies. So we try and balance it as appropriate. Yeah. Not to make a
Mhm.
hard and fast rule is what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
saying that, but
yeah.
this was
No,
the
I know you're
first
not. I
time.
know you're not. I'm just appreciating
This
it here.
was, I feel that this was the first time we were completely with Erica. Hmm?
No, not really. We have before. Oh, this actually did come thicker than I thought, but all right. No, we have had before. We have had before.
Okay, okay, but I really feel that.
Oh no, we've had plenty actually. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It just seems lately we haven't, but in the beginning,
Oh, okay,
absolutely. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Lately, not. Yeah, yeah. Lately, they have been all sort of overlap transitions, but also Eric is in the middle. You see, that's why.
Hmm.
That's why. So we got a new name for Eric in the middle. Ha ha ha.
uh, okay,
See,
and
she's that appreciation sandwich. See.
I just love that. Love
Yeah,
that
yeah. So
analogy.
now Erica is the one in the middle. So see, she's making herself into an appreciation sandwich. How cool is that? How cool is that? How cool is that? How cool is that? Fantastic, fantastic. All right, very cool, very exciting. Yes, I just loved it. I love all the sessions. They're all just magical. But yeah, I do hear you. And again, it's as appropriate. It's as appropriate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Erica really is. Different people have different skills. Some people, they just say things and you sit and listen, and then others like Erica, man, she just brings up so much in us, right? She kind of
Yes.
explodes us. That's why I like that term, white holding. It's just a magical term, for this, she white holes us. She really causes
Uh,
us to
your
explode
your
because she's done that.
uh, your
She's queuing
word,
it in us.
yes, yes, and your term, um, assigning,
Yeah, yeah.
sign twist. Uh, I didn't say much about that because, of course, the words from you is something really more than special for me. So
Well,
I
thank you.
really I am paying attention to that, and
Fine.
don't want to say anything just randomly because I really want to think it through to the end.
Oh, look, Beena. You see,
Mm-hmm.
not always get a chance to see me at a little bit more of a remove. You're always seeing up here. So I don't know, just feeling fine.
Oh,
I'm feeling fine in my top here today. Right?
good.
Chest, you gotta slip upwards. Chest, stop slipping downwards. You gotta slip upwards. Practice more handstands, more
Hmm.
headstands. Beena, you were
Hmm.
saying about words or vocabulary, or conceptions, really, because they really are conceptions. And this is
Hmm.
when I do that, this is what I'm doing. I'm tapping into the moreness of what you are saying, and I'm saying it's actually a function of my continual practice and application of appropriateness. So I say, I hear what Beena is saying, but what is the most appropriate term conception that exemplifies what I'm hearing? And then they come, and then it comes. All right. So that's how those conceptions come. It is a really an exquisite application, if I may say so myself, of
Of, of,
appropriateness. It
of
is.
course,
Because it's a
because
skill I've honed over the years,
of
so I can own
course
it.
that's
But it is application of appropriateness. Yes.
I
Yes.
was.
Hello, dog.
It's not like okay, I didn't respond much to that word, so because I was thinking about that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I love it. I love it. And to assign value, it's that precision of what you were doing, right? You were using this value, the connecting of value in this precise way, and you can only really say, when you really think of it, to say, oh, I'm assigning value, because it implies deliberation to say assigning, right?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. And that's really something. That's really something. That's really something. It's very exciting, Beena. Very, very, very exciting. Very exquisitely exciting. Very magical. Very magical. Yeah? Yes, Beena? Where'd you go? You there?
I'm here, but
Ah,
there was so much noise in my
Oh.
neighborhood, so I was messed up.
It's okay. I didn't hear any noise, so it's
So
interesting that
because
it
I
wasn't.
mute myself.
Oh, I didn't see you mute either. So, well.
Whenever I feel that yes, something is just coming, so I mute myself.
No. Please don't worry about it. But like I said, for the most part, I don't hear it. It's not an issue. So don't worry about it. Oh, very exciting. Very exciting. I love this assignment of value or value assignment. Very, very magical thing. Very magical thing. Oh, and name that app. This is our wave impeccability game. Name that app, right? We know what it means, of course, but when we really look at this, it's quite an incredible thing. Just this concept of naming changes everything.
डबल साइडेड टेप आप लोग इसमें यूज कर सकते हैं मार्बल
Yes, come on with that double-sided tape now. What the hell's the matter with you? You're going to get a COVID smack in a moment if you don't make that double-sided tape right. Huh? Seriously, people, you don't know how to use double-sided tape? Come on now. The hell is the matter with you? Did you eat your brains for breakfast or what? Who was having fun with the double-sided tape, Beena?
Okay, it was just a random video on my Facebook.
I thought maybe it was Auntie because I didn't recognize the voice. So.
No. And the lady was selling artificial nails, and she was saying that it's a
She was selling
double-sided
artificial nails. Oh, nails that go on your fingers, not nails that you chop into the wall. I'm saying, how are you going to construct anything with an artificial nail? It would be quite the challenge. And my brain was trying to figure this out now. It's like, man, talk about square circle. There's an example of a square circle for you, an artificial nail.
Yeah, so she was telling, you can use it with double-sided tape and all these things.
Right. But she seemed quite animated, didn't she? Like she was scolding somebody. That's what it sounded like to me.
Because,
was she kind of like in that mode?
No, she was selling these things online and started a watch party, and people were asking questions. So maybe she might be just a bit frustrated.
All right.
Ask.
I mean, it just seemed like she was a little bit more animated than one would expect. So, but she was fun to listen to. It was fun to listen.
Oh, it was.
I do notice that my crepes they take quite a long time to cook, which is surprising. At least it seems so to me. All right, here we go. Oh, can you see?
Let me see.
I'll show it on the plate. More exciting on the plate. So.
Oh yes. Just
Show it from on top like that. See? All right. So. Dinner's about to begin, Beena. You are invited to join me. Sher, you also when you come back. I don't think I've changed the recording, so we're all on with the Sher recording, but okay, it is what it is. So first of all, let's put my sausage on there, and we'll add a bit of ketchup. I'm assembling my meal here, Beena. Beena's saying, oh my goodness, what on earth is he doing? What horribleness, but okay.
No,
Can you bear to watch it? Can you bear to watch it?
It's not horrible.
Ketchup. Oh, but look what I'm putting on now, Beena. Garlic.
Ah.
Yeah, garlic I got from Hortensia's, still crushed garlic. Very nice, very handy. So, got to use it. It's very potent garlic too, so I have to use it sparingly. Oh, my mouth's drooling over here. Oh, God, wait. Okay, hey, spread evenly. Spread evenly. No, uneven spreading. That will not do. Nope. Did you see? So, Sophie, I got in that nope. Was in the story, remember? Sophie says nope. I like that, right? Authenticity, Beena, authenticity. Because I write it, Strive for authenticity. Yes. Even though it's a fantastical story, it's also a true story. Right?
Yes.
Gotta be authentic. Gotta be authentic. Just because it's fantastical doesn't make it any less true. There we go. See? You see how it's all rolled up now, Beena? You see? It's
Yeah,
still
nicely.
just a trifle too thick, but it works. It works. It works. It works. It works. Because now all that cheese can melt, and actually the sausage can warm up a little bit. Because these just came out of the fridge this way. Came out of the fridge that way. So brilliant, 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 brilliant. Ah, so cool, so cool, so cool. I'm just thinking of all the stuff in the Erica Jane session. Just that application and that implementation, right? Mm. Mm. Not eating eggs. Still remarkably eggy. I don't know if those particular eggs, because they were frozen, made them more eggy.
Oh.
Well, when I took the batter out, that's so I added more to it. I diluted it, Beena. I took the eggy batter and I added another cup of flour and a cup of water with milk powder. So in other words, a cup of milk, and then another tablespoon of oil.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, and another teaspoon of salt. And then I mixed the two batters. So I just made a fresh batter, in other words, without egg, in other words. And I mixed it with the remaining eggy batter. It amazes me. Still a bit. I don't taste it, but I see it. And that's something?
Yes.
It amazes me. All right, so the cold sausage is not working inside here, by the way. It's okay, but it needs to be pre-warmed, the sausage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I did yesterday. Sorry. Being a hooligan, pointing my fork up into them. Always point them downwards, right? Right?
Sorry. Say it again.
I was sitting like this. So that's hooligan. That's not good etiquette at all. The queen would not be amused.
Uh-huh.
But always have your cutlery pointing downwards.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Your mother never said that to you? Or
No,
auntie or somebody? Or you just
this is
automatically?
true. But yes, because Muslims and Pakistanis especially, they prefer to eat with hands mostly, and sometimes just with a spoon. Yes, we do use two spoon or one fork or spoon. So mostly people just with one spoon. So the cutlery etiquettes are not a bit into. But yes, when in kitchen, we are holding a knife in our hand. Always says that no, never pointed it outward. Make it a bit like this. So
Definitely
always
a lot
downward.
nicer. My crepe. This is more of a, I don't know what this is, but okay. Yeah, no, it's definitely, just to have that. But as a point of refinement, if you're eating dining with the queen, you want to make sure never to point your cutlery upward. But it just looks rude, doesn't it, to sit like
Oh
this?
yes,
It just
oh
looks
yes,
uncouth and rude.
yes, yes. I understand.
Mm-hmm. And then amazing how things are. Finesse and exquisiteness. We're aiming for this in our spirit. Right, Beena?
Mm.
Mm. This exquisiteness of being, Beena?
I understand. Yes, today I understand that your idea about pictures and how it affects our mood. I actually experienced that today.
Oh, wow. Oh, talking about that. Sorry, hold your thought for 1 second.
Mhm.
Anna came on yesterday evening, and we did some picture selecting together. It was so
Oh,
fun.
yes. Uh-huh.
And we're going to do more. And Donna's keen
Good.
to participate in the construction of the Mourners project. Yes, wow. Yes, wow. What a bonus for us. What a bonus for us. Wow. Wow, wow. Really fun. Really fun. I mean, just doing the pictures, you know. I mean, it seems a simple thing, of course, but the way we do that picture selection, there's nothing simple about it at all, right? And you and I, we just did the graphics, you know, the vector graphics.
Mhm.
We haven't done the pictures yet. We're going to do that next.
Mhm.
You know, while we wait for Sher, this is something that we can fill the time with. You know what I mean? So it's a good thing. It's a fun thing, and you know, I am conscious that we are just sitting here chatting in Sher's recording, and I didn't put the recording on pause because I'm hoping Sher comes back. And I thought, it'd be cool, you know, we can just share our kind of hanging out and chilling. It's just fun because it's an exemplification of being, right? To say, yeah, you know, here it is. Simple things can be very magical should we choose to. Right? I love hanging out with you. I mean, everybody. It's a very profound magicalness. And you know, wave impeccability is everything. It's in everything, right? Always there. Always there. Always. So, the intent of the Mourners Project. It is to implement, to make innate exquisiteness of being. Yeah?
I was thinking about that.
Right.
Like,
Okay, there's more.
what is significant about?
Right. There's more to the Mourners Project. Right? In terms of the intent. What are we looking to do as a participant in the Mourners Project? Yes, application, implementation, all of this stuff, right? We are also, now this used less oil too. So that's interesting, which is good. We are also doing much more than this, right? We are looking to practice, refine, test, right? Yeah.
Say it again.
We are looking to constantly practice and refine and test and self-prove and implement way of impeccability, right? So the Mourners Project is an appropriate forum where we get to apply, implement, practice in collaboration, right? And to get feedback on ourselves and to be deliberate about this implementation of our exquisiteness of being, right? It's a big deal what we're doing. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Very, very, very big deal. Oh, the garlic was nice there. Mm-hmm. Wow, that really made a difference there. Mm-hmm. So this time, Beena, I'm going to, you know, when the bottom side is cooking, I'm going to put the sausage and the cheese and the garlic on the crepe in the pan. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
But this point of the Mourners Project, that it is a project where we are going to absolutely focus on the refinement of our exquisiteness, of the implementation, of the ownership, of the practicing, right? We are looking to change our everyday. Oh, 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 oh. Universe is saying, yes, what a nice buzzer there. Man, that's huge. So we are looking to really fine tune our behavior, how we actually implement our beingness. Right? It's no good just knowing all the stuff. Or at least it's not a bad thing. But just knowing, we are saying, hey, I want more than just knowing it, just understanding it. It's of course the application, but we are going to take this application to a different level. We are going to modify our behavior where yes, I'm impeccable, but I want to enjoy being impeccable. See what I mean? I want to take absolute magical delight in being impeccable every single day, right? Every single moment. And this exquisiteness of being, right? It's not just taking joy in what we're doing, but taking joy in our exquisiteness. But in that exquisiteness is a layered finesse, a sophistication. And that layered finesse and sophistication is our ongoing perpetual connectivity to the more of everything, which is this profound, profound, profound celebration of the magicalness of life itself. Right? This is the intent. This is what we are going to be doing in the Mourners Project. Right? Hey, you were not invited to dinner, Mr. Fly, Bumblebee, whatever you are, Big Fly. You weren't invited. You weren't invited. Right? You'll get crashing here. Oh, I have to get you out. So out you go. Out, out, out. You're not invited. Careful, gate crashes. You're rude. You're just zooming around like crazy. Where do you get all this energy to fly with? Oh, there it went out. Okay. And that always fascinates me with flies, right? Where do they get the energy to fly with? You don't see them really eating. It's not like they, you sit there, they're feasting and gorging. What fuels them? Isn't that incredible, Beena? So to me,
And,
flies are
and
actually magical creatures. They must feed
okay,
on magic, because what else are they feeding on? Or they feed on the air or something. I don't know.
okay. I feel so irritated with these house flies and all these things. But, I was
Oh,
sleeping, I guess. But when I woke up, I saw a fly sitting just in, in front of me. You can say that. When I opened my eyes, I saw that, and I was looking at that fly, and it was just like um, the the action they do is just like they are actually scraping something from their legs or whatever it is,
yeah,
and
correct. They clean them. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, and the way they clean, it's
Well,
really
we don't know if they're cleaning. Maybe when they fly around, this is where they collect food, and then in that process, they're actually eating what they've collected.
so, but it seems like that it was cleaning
Yeah,
itself
yeah.
and putting everything on the blanket or something. It was
Oh,
so
oh,
yucky. It
oh,
was so
that's not.
yucky for me.
That's rude, fly.
But I was like, really? And I was talking to that, and I was like, come on, like who gave you this permission to put your
Yeah,
stuff on my
yeah,
blanket? And
yeah.
Mama was sitting. I was like, come on, Beena, this enough. You're so irritated by these guys. We all know, but how can you talk like this? Like you are fighting with someone, having an argument with.
Fantastic, Beena. Fantastic. But the fly understood you, like the bunny understood you. Yes?
Oh yes, I
Yeah,
hope.
exactly. Exactly. No, they do understand. Okay, this is actually a nice little session, Beena. So take notes here, real quick. A very simple thing, but under the main section of attention to attention, A to T, T to A to A, right? A to A. You saw my abbreviations. I put it there, A to A. The letter, the number 2, A to A. Anyway, so under attention to attention, flies. Particularly use flies, right?
Okay.
Flies are attracted by attention. Yes. Okay. So when you are dealing with flies, when they're buzzing around your head, the more irritated and annoyed you are, the more you attract them. Now think about this for a second, right? Right? Where does the fly want to go? Okay, with animals, right? They go there to the nether regions where the tail is, right? And that tail is a swish really of irritation, annoyance, get rid of me, right? What is the implication of the tail? Here be another end. See? If the tail is swishing, it means there is something
but
that the tail is protecting,
no.
which
So,
is by implication to the fly. If it sees that swishing tail, that is, oh, here's something for me to go for. Same thing when you're waving your hand about. You are protecting something, which by implication means there is something to protect. And that's then, it draws the attention of the fly.
but no, but still, flies usually they sit on something they eat, and it doesn't matter that it is moving or not or
No, no,
something
no, no,
waving.
no. I don't mean that it's moving. It's what attracts them, is what I'm trying to say. They are attracted by annoyance and irritation. The vibe in the air, they feel it, right? And then more come. This is not something that, when we're in the desert, we practice this a lot because we had tons of flies, and we had to learn to make peace with them. If you keep swatting them, you just bring more and more and more and more. Right? So it's not their only mechanism. I mean, I'm assuming they come with smell because, well, you could be out in the desert and you not see a single fly. The moment you do something there, do your business, the next thing there's 100 flies. Where the hell did they come from? Right? So I got to assume that they, smell things or whatever. But certainly they are definitely also attracted by attention. This I've
Okay.
noticed many times, and it makes sense to me, because it's
I'm,
implication.
I'm not getting this,
Well,
but
let me say it again. Let me say it again. If I'm waving and swatting the air about me, if I'm irritated and I've got this, I'm swatting the air around me, and I'm irritated, the implication that the flies are there and I'm irritated that they're there means by implication to the fly that I have something of value which I'm protecting, that I don't want the fly to get into.
but
Right?
this is assumption.
This is what?
This is assumption.
Yes, I realize it's an assumption. Yes, but try it as a matter of observation and practice it, and then you'll see how it works out. Yes, it might start as an assumption, but I actually, we practice this very much so in the desert, and it went from assumption to verification. You can see when you stop being irritated and you stop swatting around, then the flies kind of chill out because it's like, okay, it's nothing of value here because there really isn't, except us being irritated. There's no actual food for them, but on our person, on our face or whatever, so, and then they kind of leave you alone and they go elsewhere. So not entirely, but there was a substantial difference. But when you start to be at peace, then the flies don't tend to bother you. It's quite an amazing thing. They feel that energy, as it were. It's like a disturbance in the force, and when there's a disturbance, then they notice it and then they come.
So if if it is so, then you are actually triggering something really huge.
Oh, it's very huge. Oh, absolutely. Oh, this is a huge point, Beena. It is where we are looking again at intent. See? And
Hold
how
on.
everything
Hold on.
revolves around intent.
Hold on.
Sure.
Ah,
You see the logic here of what I'm saying? Yes, it is very profound. It's a very huge thing. Ooh, this one is coming out beautifully, Beena. Wait 1 second.
but why don't you make it prior, like 2, 3?
No, I like to eat them fresh as they come out.
Okay.
I know they say that, but then they get cold. No, I don't want to be looking. You're not really eating me. There we go. Look how beautiful that is, Beena.
Yeah.
So pure. You see? very
Yeah.
neat, very clean. So they cook slowly, I notice, which is really interesting. All right. So yeah, this is a huge deal, Beena, and I'm paying attention to the attention and how flies pay attention and how they pay attention to intent, and it makes total sense. You know, um, you watch the animal videos. There's a very popular one that's been around many times where this it's either a cheetah or a leopard. I think it's a cheetah, where a little a wildebeest cub. Um, uh, One cheetah is trying to eat the wildebeest cub, and then another cheetah comes along, and the wildebeest cub runs away, and it runs to the second cheetah, and then she defends the wildebeest cub from the first cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
Her maternal instincts, I guess, kicked in or something, right? So because of the intent of the wildebeest cub, it ran to the second cheetah for protection. See, it cued the second cheetah to protect the wildebeest cub, the little baby wildebeest, not very big at all, from the first cheetah. And she does. She fights with the second cheetah. Just saying, intent and cueing are very powerful things. So when we look at intent and cueing when it comes to flies, why should it be any different? Why should they not be able to feel an energy coming from something? Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me too. You know, just the movement. This is enough of a cue. You know, you waving your arm is like a swishing tail. You might as well be advertising. Here be something. You know, but typically tails are associated with something of value to the fly. You swishing your arm around, they just think, oh, there's a fly. You know, and especially when you wave it around your mouth, well, it's like for a lot of people, okay, the association of flying, saying, all right, you know, makes sense. My little joke is lost on Beena, but that's okay.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal, Beena. It's not a
I just
simple
want
thing.
to
No.
string up all these ideas
Yeah,
together.
yeah. Attention to attention is what I'm saying, you know, and the energy that we put out, you know. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I'm not only fascinated by flies, but I'm also fascinated by ants. You know, how ants, how selective they are in what they go after. It seems to me the ants are pretty good, you know. They don't go after your dry goods, right? I mean, if you look at it from a certain perspective, you know, I told you the Jody and the ant story.
I want to ask you
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
a random question.
Sure.
Just respond it immediately.
Sure. Before you do that, hang on. Something happening here. I need Beena's expertise. See, it's got a dome now.
Yeah.
It's like, huh? What's going on here? See, when I tap it, it goes a little bit flatter. And it comes up again. Hey, see?
So don't tap it like this, but with the flat side.
No, I know. I don't mind the thing. It's not going to make any difference. I'm going to flip it now. So good. It's just intriguing. Okay, I'm listening. What is your question?
What energy Sue is emitting? Don't think about it. Just give me a random answer.
Enthusiasm, exhilaration, intensity, joy,
Overwhelming.
eagerness. There is an overwhelm, but it's a positive overwhelm. It is a delicious overwhelm.
For us, because we can handle this. But for other people, it's an overwhelm. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Now it makes
Or
sense.
you're meaning it for self, some internal overwhelm. There is a little bit of that, but it needs to be. It's very important. So yeah.
No, I was thinking about that Deanne and other people. Mm.
Ah,
Mm. Mm.
interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
high energy. It's high energy. This is what
Yes.
Sue puts out, high energy. And not everybody can deal with high energy, exactly. And this is likely, yeah. So yeah, I don't want to go into much detail, but yeah.
No problem. I'm not worried about that.
No,
I'm not worried.
it's fine. But yeah, you're right. It can be high energy. Absolutely, is overwhelming for other people. And it's very interesting that you make this connection from my point about the flies, them attracting to energy. Same logic, Beena. Same thing.
Yes.
You know.
That's why I was
Yeah,
saying that.
yeah. No, it's a good connectivity there that you're making, and that's very awesome, Beena. I love these when you connect things like this. It's very awesome. Very, very awesome. Very, very awesome. Most awesome. Magical, Beena. Magical, magical. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, high energy is something else. I remember there used to be a guy who used to sell fitness equipment. I think his name was Tony, somebody or other. Oh, I don't know. I think he was on drugs. But anyway, he had the super high energy, and it was hard to watch for long. But it's quite popular, But still,
Uh-huh.
it was difficult to watch it all the time because that high energy, it kind of wears on you a little bit. So we do have to be careful with that high intensity of energy. It can very easily be overwhelming. Yes, yes. Now we have natural high
Okay.
energy, so we can deal with it. And look, Sue has high energy. Look, you see now Sue can be on Zoom, for 5, 6, 8 hours. It's no problem. But not everybody can. So yeah, it's something to be aware of. Good point, Beena. Very good point. Very, very good point. When it comes to
Because
energy management, yeah.
yesterday when I was observing her physically, like, okay, how she
Love
is,
it.
where she
Love it.
is,
Love it.
and I was observing her, and I'm really impressed by her composure, as because the worldview collapse is already happened inside her,
Yeah,
but she is managing it big time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a practice. It's a experience. It's a part of her training also. Whatever it is,
Yeah. We
she's
see Sue
holding it.
catching up,
Hmm.
right?
And hmm. and that was the thing. That's why she's eager, because there is something which is collapsed, but she's not uh, bringing it to her consciousness deliberately. She's not putting it outside, and that's why she wants to know more, because
Love it.
somehow
Love it.
somehow this is something she want to do it by herself only,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is good.
Yes, yes. That's
Which
that,
is
and
good,
it's
and I
essential.
was observing
It
her.
is essential. Who
Mm.
joined us? Sher again?
Yep.
Oh yes.
Hello, I'm back.
Brilliant, brilliant. It is Sher.
Yes.
Beena's making a very magical, profound point, as Beena so often does.
Cool.
And she's making the point about learning and growing. I'm going to paraphrase Beena, and I might add a little bit of myself in here. Just
Yes.
mix it up because it's too long to explain the whole thing. So I'm just going
Yes.
to say it. All right.
Yes.
So the point that's come up, let me just put it this way, rather than saying it's Beena's point, I'll just say the point that has come up is a point about our eagerness to learn and why it is that we have a magical eagerness to learn, right? Particularly in the context of way of impeccability, because we are greedy and hungry for the replacement, because we know that what we had in the past, we never fully really owned. And that made us somewhat of a phony. And we just absolutely do not care to be phonies, right? This just does not compute for us. No, 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 right? So,
Exactly.
so we have to, when it comes to these, to what we are learning and growing, we're coming in. Let me just go through the whole little sequence here. So we are aware that, oh my goodness, what I knew before, I thought I kind of knew stuff, but I realize now I actually know bugger all. Right? So when we do that, we now say the next thing is, oh, I've got to learn, I've got to learn, I've got to learn. Worse, really, in terms of the pressure of ourselves on ourselves, is to say, man, You know, before all the stuff that I thought I knew, I didn't know it. Like I'm realizing I need to know things now. I kind of was putting all these things out there, but that wasn't really my own, which makes me a bit of a phony. Which
Right.
means now I have to learn this stuff for myself.
Yes.
I have to be thorough. I have to fully own it. I have to implement it. I have to practice it so that I can self-prove it to myself, so that I don't ever get to that space where I'm just saying things and putting things out, and it's not fully my own. And it's not that I'm trying to be a phony, but I can inadvertently and undeliberately, but still nonetheless be that somewhat of a phony. And I don't care for that. Not that I was trying to be a phony. It just happens if I don't fully own it and make it my own for myself.
But sir, just one point.
Is that kind of what more or less is that the point? Okay,
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. But one more thing,
Mm,
not only for myself, but by myself also. Sometimes it happens that we don't want to make ourselves, again, vulnerability, that we don't
correct.
want to make ourselves vulnerable to others
Yes,
and
yes.
try to get things and not sharing, not saying things, not asking, but just want to do something and fix all these things. And this state is interesting because I have been there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Just a little point of digression here. You see, sir? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you see?
Be pro at work.
Getting pro. We're getting pro, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Practice, you
yummy.
see. Magical practice. Well, if you've seen all the others that came about, they didn't always come out so nicely. But now we are getting pro at this. We're getting pro. We're getting pro.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Aha. I am overcooking them a little bit. They're getting crispy. Not overcooking, but they're getting crispy, so they'll make them flexible. So I gotta cook them a little less. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I love it. So this is a big point. And you were saying, Beena, to say again the last point?
Not, not only to learn to ourselves, but also by ourselves. This
Correct.
is this is
Correct.
something which our
Correct.
inner bureaucrats try to do that.
Yes.
Oh,
Exactly.
don't
Exactly.
just let anyone know about this. Do it
Exactly.
and fix it, and everything will be fine.
Hmm. Hmm.
So trying to avoid those fixes by showing others, by sharing with others, and just trying to fix it secretly inside, and then okay, I will come out clean because we are aware of all these things,
Oh yeah.
but I
Oh
don't
yeah.
want to show it. Yes, we all do that at
No,
some
no,
stage. We all do that.
no. Very magical, Beena. Now, we say, what use is this? What Beena just said. How can I use it? Right. We'll use it right now with Sher. We'll put it
Can I
into
use the
practice.
desire to learn?
Implementation, learning by ourselves.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to apply it, and I'm going to. You'll see what I mean in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, where were we? What were you sharing with us?
I was sharing module 7, session 1, and I was on number 3.
Okay.
And this happens to be my favorite point.
I hold it right there. Pause right there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to implement from my side, from our side, from Wave Impeccability side. I want to implement what Beena was just saying. So I'm going to do it both from my side and then get you to do it from your side. So now, instead of reading the point to us like you've been doing before, right? Read it to yourself, then explain it to us, and then at the end of your explanation, then you can read it to us. It's a very subtle, nuanced thing that's going to transpire, but you'll see what I mean in a moment. So read it to yourself first, the point, then you explain it to us, and then at the end, maybe you can read it to us. But explain your own point to us.
I'm not sure I can because it's so broken down, simply enough. So,
Right, but okay, you read it and then you don't look at the screen, and then you tell us what you just read.
okay. To tell you what I just read, knowing that there is always more allows me to apply, enhance, expand, which is exactly what Beena kind of talked about.
Right, right,
I mean,
right.
that. So I don't know how else to break that down other
No,
than
no, no. It's not about
I,
breaking it down. It's just
yeah.
shifting from reading to sharing what's inside you.
Okay. Well, and this is something that I have been practicing, which is
Mm-hmm.
my learning is extremely layered. I don't just learn something
Exactly.
and put it aside.
Exactly.
So, and that's just because to me, I understand, I fully get that there is always something more to know, which in itself is pretty awesome. I mean, it's what I look forward to every day.
Right. But I mean,
Figuring
what I'm
something
trying
out,
to say
learning
here is
something new.
when you read something to us, you've kind of already thought it through.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at your own point and then you just share it extemporaneously, just off the cuff, you just share what you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
You are practicing this off the cuff sharing, which is a very different way of owning and implementing and learning by yourself from
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's what Beena was talking about. Learning by yourself. She didn't add from yourself, but I'm adding that. Right?
Right.
So we want to learn by ourselves and also from ourselves. So this when you say it back like this and you just say it out, you just share it just like you know, instead of reading it, you're just
Mm-hmm.
telling us what you've just read there. This is
Okay.
a very big shift. It's a very simple thing, but it's a huge shift.
Extraction is a power term. Okay. Well, the next one would
Exercise.
be number 4, and it's extracting. It is a power term. Extracting means to be able to pull something, for me anyways, it's to be able to pull something from whatever it is that's in front of me or happening or about me,
Dig it out.
whether it's internally or externally.
Right. Right.
Just basically for me anyways, extracting, I could be extracting the best of something.
Interesting. Yeah, very cool. Right, exactly. But I guess your point that you're making is this is about you doing this as an act of deliberation, just digging for more. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
What I wrote was that it's a power term. So that's what,
okay. Well,
yeah.
that's all I want to go because it's like, well, there's not much to say there, but all right.
Right.
Sorry.
That's why I said I broke everything down so simply, so
Oh,
simply.
okay.
So
Okay.
everything is pretty really
All right.
cut and
Well,
dry.
try as best you can. If there's no
Okay.
more to explain, then just read it. So.
Okay. The next point goes back up to the first one, which is extract implies it. The term extracting anyways implies, just through implication, it's just that there is something more. Well, for me there again, that's kind of one of those does, because there is always more.
Exactly.
Even when you think you've gotten to the end, you're not at the end.
Right. You see what you're doing now? You're already starting to shift into this.
Yeah.
There you were sharing the point with us conversationally.
Oh, okay.
You see? It's a little different logic to when you're reading it. Very different mind that you're bringing into it, right?
Well, see, now, you know what? And you're just like ahead of the game here, or you know the program that well, because the next one is perspective shift. So in a sense, we are kind of shifting perspective. I heard Beena giggling. There's definitely a shift that's occurring, because I'm having to first off change gears. My mind has to think a little differently. So, which golly, okay, whoever wrote this is Mr. Sill. This is really interesting, because the next one is taking nothing for granted. So I don't take it for granted that just because I think something through that it's finished. I can always change one word, one action, take a different step, take a different approach. So I don't believe that I could ever take more for granted.
Exactly. How awesome is that? How awesome is that simple profound realization and statement that Sher made.
Yes.
You now made a statement of Sher. I
Yes.
don't think I can ever take anything for granted. This is not a wave impeccability point or a Beena point or anybody else's point. No, that's a Sher point. Yes?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Absolutely it is.
Yes.
Freaking
Yes.
phenomenal. Freaking phenomenal. Freaking phenomenal.
Okay. You're putting them in the blue barrel, right? Blue barrel, not the green one?
Oh, this is good news. This is good news. This is good news.
Okay.
We hear CJ.
Yes.
And that is involved in something that requires some modification of instruction. That means he's up and about and it is,
Yes.
functional and everything is good.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant.
He's good.
Brilliant.
He's
Good
good.
How
news.
is he now?
Implications.
He's good. He slept quite a bit, and then the best thing to do whenever he gets sick like that is just leave him be. He's not
Yep.
a
Yep.
toddler.
Yep.
He doesn't
Yep.
like being mollycoddled, so I just let him do his thing.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
90% of all ailments are self-curative if rest is involved.
Yep. Well, he did. He slept a lot. I mean, a whole lot. So, and that was good.
Brilliant.
Here's one. Okay. So if I were, the next statement, if I were to catch myself taking something for granted, that means I have become stagnant. I'm stuck at that point. If I'm just starting to take things for granted. When you take things for granted, when you're stagnant, when you're insisting that there is no more to be done, you're not living. And if I'm not learning, I'm not living.
If I'm not learning, I'm not living. Can you say that again, please?
If I'm not learning, I am not living.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
What was the point? What is the point about being stuck if we are taking anything for granted? Please, Sher, explain it a bit more for me.
Okay. If I'm taking something for granted, that means I'm no longer learning. I'm no longer extracting and looking for the more. I've settled in my mind somewhere that that's it, nothing is going to change. And that's where I used to be. That's where I used to live, is in that mindset of this is my life, this is my lot. Never going to trust, never going to be confident, never going to this, never going to that. So I was taking pretty much just life for granted and waiting for my last day.
Oh, yes.
Now that has shifted towards nothing but positive thinking and living, as far as I can tell I am anyways.
Would you say you are living as if today could be your last day?
I certainly try. I certainly
That's it.
try for that.
That's it. That is a profound shift. You are not taking your life for granted. You are not taking time for granted. You are not taking energy for granted. You are not taking the moreness for granted. This implies all of the rest, right?
Yes. Not taking moreness for granted, time or energy. Sometimes I will take that for granted, and it catches up with me when I do. That's when I'm usually not practicing good energy management. I feel my best when I am what I call on my game, which is, I'm up at a reasonable hour, functioning right away in the morning, like today. First thing I did was I didn't even bother looking at my phone. It was get up, get my tea, get my morning routine going, just like I used to. Because that was one of the issues I was struggling with recently was, feeling lack of motivation. Well, lack of motivation was because I wasn't utilizing my energy to the best of my ability.
Exactly.
Once I set
energy
my mind,
management. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and once I set my mind to, take that action and tell myself I am motivated, that this is something I have to do, then it was like giving I gave myself a pass on, slipping up the last month or two, and like, you know what, if there was a reason I had to do it, and that's okay, it's cool, and just started on with my day. So that means that all this makes me complete owner of all of my doings, everything. I am owner and responsible for all my being, all my doing, all my thoughts and actions and words. Which for me, that's pretty cool.
It's fantastic.
We were
That
talking about
ownership,
that
that
earlier.
responsibility, huge.
The responsibility is there. Yes, I can take care of myself. Does it really bite sometimes that I do? Yeah. I mean, it would be really nice to have, that significant other sometimes, but then other times I go, oh no, I don't want to give up that kind of control.
And that independence of being. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
My independence of being is way too solidified and ingrained in me at this point.
Nice.
But I really just don't know as if I could ever share the rest of my,
Correct. You might have one and they live where they are and you've got it. Okay, but yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
I've got, I have
Right.
CJ to take care of, Hunter, and myself, and that's more than enough.
Right.
That's enough. Yeah.
We need to understand that want is not need.
Yes.
When
And
we
that's
have independence of being.
Habits.
It's independence of being from needing stuff. That doesn't mean that we unhook from wanting and enjoying stuff.
Right.
3 different things, right?
Right.
Just because I've unhooked from the necessity of wanting and default wanting and obligatory or automatic wanting, that doesn't mean that I've stopped enjoying. No. I can enjoy everything, but I'm enjoying it on my terms.
Right.
And that's the shift that we are seeing take place in Sher right now. Yes.
Yeah. And that's something that I've really been kind of thinking about too. Is I ask myself 2 questions, every day since I've really, really been digging into this, which is one, is, am I being real? And 2, what's my intent? Those 2 questions I ask every single day, sometimes multiple times in a day.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes multiple. And I listen. I trust myself, whatever answer I get.
Fabulous.
If it's not an answer that sits with me, then that's when I move into that whole, wait, there's got to be something else.
There's more.
Yeah,
there's more to extract. There's more to extract, right?
Exactly.
That term extract was really huge for you, right?
Yes, it is. It is. And so is several of them are.
Yes, but extract in particular is huge. I noticed.
Yeah.
I just noticed. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we can substitute excavate.
Yeah, I like extract.
Right. I'm just saying, there's many ones that need to come. Okay. I love it.
And because you're looking at this too, because I love this one here too, though, as far as like perspective shifting. That one, when we first went through it, when Rex and I were there, I kind of understood it, but I kind of didn't. My head wasn't quite wrapping around it. And it took some time, and we talked about it at length, Rex and I did.
On perspective shifting?
Yeah. And then I put it away for a bit.
Oh.
Because there were other things that were kind of taking front seat.
Oh, wow.
But recently it has made a very big, what's the word? It's made its presence known in my life. Not so much an impact, but it has definitely been telling me all the time, I'm here, remember this. This is something you need to pay attention to. I practiced it yesterday, with that lady.
Yes.
I could have very easily just, fallen apart at the seams and, oh no, I'm going to lose a customer and what am I going to do? And no, just shop. No.
Right. Did you reframe yourself and your relationship, your interactions, your responses, your moves? Did you reframe them when it came to that lady? As opposed to how you would normally do it?
I did.
Right.
I did. I like that word.
Right. There you go. It came up earlier with Sherry.
I like that word.
It in place of perspective shifting. That's it. For you, perspective shifting, reframing, just use reframing. That's it.
I like that because, and it also reframing, when you're extracting the more, you're still reframing.
Yes, we are always in the process of reframing. Correct. That's
Definitely.
it. The more we connect to the more and more we reframe the more. It's my little poem for you. for today.
Sorry, I
Ask me
was,
to repeat it, but
DJ brought a box in and I was just like, oh, okay, I'll deal with this.
yeah.
Attitude. Attitude is one of the other points that I picked up. My attitude, I insist on, if I wake up and my attitude, and I know it, I can always feel it. If I wake up and it's less than what I would like it to be, that's when I deliberately have to tell myself, okay, this attitude is not going to work. You need a better one. You need a different one.
Yeah.
And I just start taking baby steps to pick it up, whether it's a different tea that morning, or instead of tea, I might make a pot of coffee. And I might do something different just so that I'm consciously aware of intentionally increasing my mood and making it better.
Yes. So when we use this routine and habit shifting, we associate it with awareness, deliberate conscious awareness, and with mood and energy shifting, reframing, right? So this is what we are doing. Every time we notice a habit, we reframe our connectivity to it. We reframe our awareness of what we are doing. We reframe our intent. We reframe our mood. So this habit and routines, it's all about reframing to a beginners, to a moreness, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we are practicing exquisite attention and association management.
And especially now, especially when I know that, CJ is on edge, grandma's on edge, just because, we've been in his house too long together. It's like, yeah.
Right, but don't say that, because if this thing goes full bar the way it is going, especially in Nebraska, you guys might be there for another 3 months.
I know.
Right?
I know.
So don't say too long. Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, be careful with what I say. So I keep finding positive things to do for him that
all good.
are.
This may become your new reality for a while. So you can't be sitting there waiting for it to end. No, it's not about waiting for it to end. It is about enjoying it every second of every day right now.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do is we were talking about looking at future self yesterday, and it's like, no, I really can't see future self right now, because like I said, I am future self. I am where I am right now, supposed to be here. So my job, my biggest task is making sure that my mood and my energy are always impeccable, and that I'm aware of the tools that I can use. And that does bring me up to like what I was talking about earlier, my lack of motivation. I recognized right away, well, not right away, but a couple days ago, where my lack of motivation was coming from. And it was all internal. It wasn't anything to do with anything around here. The world could be totally on green light right now and everybody functioning and no virus or whatever. I still would have had a challenge with, for whatever reason, motivation at the time that I did. Just large part because of change.
That's something.
Yeah, I always thought that I was really easy and really cool at accepting change. And honestly, going through the way of impeccability has pointed out to me many times that I am one who resists change.
Yes.
I've always thought that, I can accept change. I'm pretty open-minded. No, I'm not.
So I got a word for you, obdurate.
What's that?
Obdurate. Just a nice word. You can go look it up.
Obdurate?
Obdue. O-B-D-U-R-A-T-E. Obdurate.
I like that. That's kind of a cool looking word.
It is a cool looking word. So in this context of what you were saying, it is the word that fits what you were saying. Not obstinate, but obdurate, right? It's a bit more than obstinate. It's kind of an entrenched, not liking change, really, I guess. Obdurate, yeah.
Well, and that actually fits right with my next repeat back point, which is
Let me ask you something quickly that popped into my mind.
okay.
Is impeccability not its own reward?
Of course it is.
I know it's a duh question. I know.
Oh.
I just wanted to make that obvious, but yeah.
Yes.
When we realize
Wow.
the joy of impeccability being its own reward, just say, Beena, say.
Yes.
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 I love it. I
It is
love
its
it.
own
I
reward.
love it when
Yeah.
things just trigger and connect and like,
I
it all
am.
falls into place. Love it.
I am not.
Hmm.
As each day goes by, guys, I move further and further away from who I was. I mean, it's really hard now to see how I was.
It's really hard now to see who you were.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
What
it
an
is.
incredible thing. What an incredible thing. What an incredible thing.
You know, all I can go by.
This is an accomplishment. Yay.
Oh, it's a huge one because all I can go by is maybe, you know, somebody I haven't seen in a while, and they'll notice the change, they'll hear a change, they'll see it, and they'll just go, wow.
I love it. I love it. I love
Happened.
it. Love it.
Like,
This is confirmation when you no longer can connect to and recognize who you were. Ah, man.
Exactly.
Now
And I
we
can't.
are getting somewhere. Now
you know, I've been trying to deliberately, I've been trying to picture who I was, and all I can see is somebody who is angry and scared all the time.
Correct. Let me make another huge point here. Right now, it connects to shame and guilt. Right, and I have to be very careful here because, for one thing, I don't feel like you have absolutely anything to be shameful or guilty about. Now, when we understand human psychology and understand that we're nincompoops, just because we don't actually have anything to feel shameful or guilty about, that doesn't stop us from feeling shame and guilt, right?
Right.
All right. So when we have this in our lives, where we feel or have felt shame and guilt at some point, right? Regardless of its validity or not, is irrelevant, right? How do we, from a point of later on, from a point of impeccability, how do we honor and make right that shame and guilt? The only way we can truly do this is by profoundly changing. Actually, for real, profoundly changing into a moreness, right? That is how we set things right, how we fix it, how we deal with it, how we honor it, right? By profoundly changing. So, go back to Sher's statement to say, I no longer can remember who I was or fully. This means you have honored, you have dealt with, you have resolved, you have fixed whatever shame and guilt was in your life or anything else, matters of conscience, doesn't matter. You have now profoundly changed. So anything of that nature that applied then cannot, by definition, apply to you now because you're a different person. See?
Yes.
So this is how we unhook from things. Now, let's assume that, because I have known people who have done things consciously, and they knew at the time they shouldn't be doing it, and they have legitimate shame and guilt, right?
Yes.
This is the only way for those people to make peace with their shame and guilt, to legitimately change completely, right? And thoroughly, and of course, change to something awesome and magical and moreness and something that you feel proud of and something that isn't what you were then, right? You have profoundly changed, right?
Yes.
This is something really, really, really huge. Wow. Isn't it?
Yes.
I know, I'm just looking at myself on the other camera here and I'm just like, wow.
Wow.
I like your hair up.
I'm like, oh, I just struck myself as being very different. I almost didn't recognize myself.
Yeah. Well, you do look
when I look
today.
at now I've got 3 places to look at myself, right? I can look at myself on the phone. I can look at myself, 2 places on the Zoom. Zoom is showing the phone window as well. So I've got 3 total. And so the one that shows my knee, this is the one that caught my attention. especially when I had the headset here. I don't know, something, it just struck me as the whole vibe and the mood to it was like, wow, this is a different person.
Well,
I
you
guess
can really
it was
see your height. The one
right.
you're sitting down, you can
Yeah,
really see how tall you are.
Right. So this connectivity, what you were saying, I guess it triggered in my brain. Said, "Whoa, I've changed too," very profoundly. So this is very magical. This is very magical.
Oh,
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And this
And
this
Sher,
is a more recent change though for me. It's from recently that I've changed, not from long ago. Yeah. 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 In other words, my recent change was actually a change to who I was long ago.
oh,
It's owning it more, sharing it more, being it more. In other words, you are really seeing the young man now.
that's cool.
Now. Thank you, Sher. You just pulled it all out of me. But it's a big point, this big point, to really say, to honor my past, right? And really to do it justice and to move away from that stuff. So I'm not always bound by it. The only way I can do this is to truly and properly and thoroughly and fundamentally change. And this is a magical thing, right? Not only
And
do we
a
want to
lot
change,
of
yeah.
a lot of the change that has happened for me, honestly, has been acceptance.
Yes. Exactly.
Acceptance is it was like the first.
Acceptance of what?
Okay. Even though I started out with awareness, and that's truly where I started, was learning about awareness, learning about me inside, that kind of thing. That recently has shifted over into acceptance of who I was, acceptance that the past happened. There's nothing I can do about it ever. So which means, why am I ever going to worry about it again? Because it's done, it's over, it's not happening right now. Therefore, why am I trying to carry that much baggage? Why am I trying to take care of it when it's done?
yes,
So
yes.
right now, what isn't done is the day.
Yes, exactly.
I have this day ahead of me, and I
Right.
don't really feel like filling it up with unpacking the past.
Right. Would you say your joy is done?
My joy? Oh no, it just started.
There you go.
It just started.
There you go. Joy is never done.
Nope. And actually, it was really kind of funny because you remember when I said, "Oh, I want a different word than joy." It kind of grew on me.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Now I find I'm using the joy.
Yes. Joy is a joy. Right?
I just think it's kind of interesting. The things that I resist, the thing because I am obdurate. The things
have been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those things that I was resisting, there's no reason to resist.
Correct.
Because I know I'm safe. I know I'm perfectly fine. I'm happy. I'm healthy. My brain functions. Really, so beyond that, what more do I need?
Exactly. What more do you need beyond yourself?
Yeah.
I think.
Yes. So because of that,
I mean, just ask that again. What more do I need beyond myself? I mean, ask it really seriously, as a serious question of yourself.
What more do I need beyond myself? Lots of question marks. What more do I need beyond myself? Love.
You are love.
Well, that's
you
true.
Are love.
Yes.
There you go. What else? Let's try again. Oh, not that one. We'll give
Can't
it a buzzer.
come up with anything.
Exactly. Because it isn't. It's a third question. You are more. So what more can you possibly want beyond you? If you are more, you can't possibly want anything more beyond yourself. Not possible.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Duh. Beena, please bring up that smack file. Share the link.
No way.
Yeah.
So.
No, sometimes they're good. They're good. Is the wind making a noise?
No.
On the microphone? No.
No.
A
No,
little bit? Okay.
there's just the way you are moving your hand or something. So that's why it's.
No, it's because I'm walking. It's actually blowing fairly
Oh.
strongish in me. So
Oh,
I
okay.
just wanted to walk a little bit with you guys. I like going for walks with you. It's very enjoyable. Look. Little party. Little roadside party. Ah, look.
Well,
See? Roadside
my,
party. Yeah.
my takeaway.
Roadside party. Yeah, I'm
Well,
listening, sir. Listening, sir.
Okay, my takeaway on this was really kind of interesting, I think. I wrote in there that I believe there is always another option. So how can I say this? That's noisy. All right. Because there is always an option, do or don't, can or can't, yes or no, and all the gray in between those, how determined am I to extract the more from the choices through my actions, thoughts, or word is the real question that I ask myself. My answer, very determined.
There you go.
I am
There
by
you
default
go.
persistent to the end. When I think that I have reached the end, I know that there's always the option to look at every perspective. Have I thoroughly and scrupulously examined all my options? Have I asked all the questions and applied all possible outcomes? Obviously, there are some things that are a simple yes or no, and I am intelligent enough to know when not to push a situation past the point of no return.
Wow.
For most of life, however, I trust there is always more.
Yes.
The end.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And the title of that story is Sher's Impeccability.
Oh,
That's exactly what you were delineating, were you not?
yes, there is always more to Sher's impeccability.
There you go. There you go. But I mean, you were describing the process of being impeccable.
Yes,
That's what you were describing.
the process of being impeccable. I like that.
That's what you were describing. Right, Beena?
Yes.
And even
That's what you
then,
heard.
after I wrote that takeaway, even then I kept going back and looking, wait, there's more. And it's like, no, there's not.
There's always
Any more
more.
than there is. So I just left it. I just left it right where it was because it's like, maybe I'll add to it, maybe I won't. Right now, I'm just going to leave it sit and go back and reread it now and then.
Nice.
It's not finished.
Nice.
Like me.
I'm not doing what Hunter's doing. I'm just don't want to get up again to move forward. So just by the way, I wasn't doing a Hunter move. I don't know if Hunter does that. You know what some dogs do.
All that scooting or whatever.
Yeah,
he doesn't
I'm
today.
scooting. Oh
Yeah.
wow, I'm scooting because I wanted to get a view of the little field down here. You see the grass down there?
Oh, cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So I'm just sitting by the roadside, just enjoying the world. I don't know, and see this little spot that no wind in it. It's very windy elsewhere. Right here, for whatever reason, no wind. Well, it's swirling all around me. But
Isn't that weird?
yeah.
Ooh, do I hear chimes?
You do.
I love wind chimes. I have some in my yard.
Yes. We used to sell them, the big ones from Woodstock. There's a company called Woodstock Chimes. And some of them were almost as big as me.
Yeah.
Beautiful, big bass chimes. Oh, they were just gorgeous. We had the whole ceiling in the store. All the wind chimes hanging from the ceiling was fantastic. You walked in there, it was like a whole little different world, you know. It's very exciting.
We have a store here in Lincoln, which is 2 hours north of us.
Why?
But we have a store here. It's called Euphoria. And anytime I go to Lincoln, it's the store that I go to. So it's basically a hippie shop. I love it.
Yeah.
And they have the same thing. Their chimes are all hung from the ceiling all throughout the store.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fabulous.
But it's gorgeous. So as you're walking through or something, you hear people just touching and brushing them. So you have this constant sing-song going on.
Yeah. Oh, it's very, very awesome. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize that, well, especially Woodstock chimes, they made it. Say again, Beena? Oh, I think Beena's got company. Brilliant.
Okay.
I love to hear Beena when she interacts with people that come nearby. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun. It's always fun. Um, Woodstock chimes made a real point of having tuned chimes, where they are tuned in a particular way that no matter how they ring, they're always in tune with each other. So this is a very big deal. So if you do buy wind chimes, make sure they are tuned chimes. Oh, a flutterby is fluttering by.
What do I do now? Read your list.
Very important to tune them.
Oh,
I
my goodness.
think Beena was saying, I told you, I'm on Zoom at this time. Leave me alone. No, I don't know. I'm just teasing. It's just it's CJ that I'm hearing, right?
Pick something different. Yeah, he's asking me, is school over? He read a little bit this morning and he did a math worksheet. And what about your science project?
I did that.
When? What did you do? What was science today?
Well, no. Well,
Okay, we'll talk about it in a minute then.
no, but I
You
said
didn't.
science was the looking for bugs and yeah.
Well, okay, then you're still gonna have to do that.
Do what?
I guess it's over then, huh?
Nice. Nice. Very cool. Is CJ learning how to do what is difficult or unpleasant? And is he getting power out of that?
Today he's learning how to do what is difficult or unpleasant because he has an incentive.
Right.
If he,
I mean, I explained this to him. Yeah, sorry.
I got to the point where, I mean, I was at my wit's end with trying to even get him to read anything. He wanted to do is, and I get, video games sometimes can be okay, but when you've got learning to do, there's a time and place for those.
Right.
So
Have him write reports of
Yep.
what he learns from the video games.
Oh, there you go. Did you hear that,
There's
CJ?
a lot of learning in video games.
That's not what you've been trying to do. You didn't even think about that. So there you go.
Yeah, don't be a big fubber. Don't be a big fubber.
Yeah.
But there's huge amounts of learnings in the video games. They just need to be
Yes.
aware of it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when he starts to really become aware of all the things that he's been forced to learn, like he's got forced to learn patience, forced to learn discipline, tolerance, a lot of research. Research your game. Go on the internet, figure it out, learn how the game works. They learn
Yes.
incredible amount of things and they're motivated to do it. Use that video game as a learning tool, as a learning motivation tool. Very profound. Very,
I can
very,
make-
very profound.
So grandma can learn how to extract more from a video game, right?
Yes. I can help you with that too.
Okay.
You
So
know,
can
yeah,
CJ.
so, yeah. I
Is-
mean, there's just huge amounts of learning that come from video games. If we shift our brain to look at it from that abstract perspective. So we've been playing this game, Name That App, right? It's the
Yes.
Wave Impeccability game.
Uh-huh.
Now, when that name that application, name that power term, just do that with a video game, and you're gonna see
Okay.
how much comes out of it. So much,
Okay.
so much. Unbelievable how much comes out of it. Yeah, those games really force us to learn because it depends on what game he's playing. But if he was playing the game like, it's one of the more involved ones.
Okay.
One of
That
the more
I like.
involved ones. There'll be lots to pull out of it. Yes, it's very exciting. Very, very exciting. They force learning in an incredible way, and then they're motivated to learn. So this is the thing I wanted to mention earlier because it's come up a bunch of times today, right? And it falls under the heading of self and life management. Right? We've got a whole
Okay.
bunch of managements. We've got energy management, we've got mood management, habit management, and we want to add to that association management and attention management, right?
Attention management, huh?
Attention management. Oh, hell yeah. Right? You can't be paying
Okay.
attention to all the killer stuff. And look, what were you doing with that woman? You didn't give her
Yeah.
any attention. You didn't give any attention to her rudeness, her weirdness, none of that. You just shut it down and you moved on. That's
Yes.
attention management. Because if you were to give that undue attention, you'd probably bring more of it into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Because the universe says, oh, you didn't quite deal with this appropriately. I'm going to have to give you another example, another chance
Right.
to practice. I find this fascinating. I've heard this before. I don't hear it there where I'm at in the house, but I hear a big siren. Do you hear it?
Yeah. What time is it there?
The 2 hours before you.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't know.
yeah. Usually, like when they run the sirens in our town, They've got the sirens they give for different things. Like they always do one on the first Thursday of every month because of the fire hall meeting, you know, for all the firemen. Then they do it again for, you know, like if they need us, if there's an alert of some sort, of course, tornadoes, you know. But then always on the third Thursday of the month, depending on whatever time it is, they sound the sirens off then too for like the city council meeting, to let everybody know.
It's a Thursday today, so that could very well be.
Yeah, could be some meeting, but most times that's what a lot of the small towns use their emergency sirens for, is to notify the townspeople that, hey, you know, one of my towns, they also sound the noon whistle. They do it every day at noon, which everybody stops working and you go to lunch, you know.
Wow.
Really kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Very
yeah.
cool. Yeah, very cool.
That's a cool word though. Attention management.
Yes, it's huge. It's huge. It's huge. Now, when we put all of this together, especially in the mornings, especially when you put together energy management and mood management, that becomes motivation management.
Oh, see, there you go. Energy, mood, and
energy management plus mood management equal motivation management.
Oh man, I'm digging that one.
I love it.
It is true.
I love it. I love it. I dig it when you dig it. I dig it when you dig it.
Motivation management.
Yeah.
And that's true because my energy and my mood directly affects my energy and vice versa.
Exactly. And then you get into this infinity loop because you've now managed your energy and your mood and your motivation. Your motivation, now it's easier to manage your energy and your mood for the rest of the day.
Yes.
Self-proving loop. How important is that?
Very.
It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. It changes everything. Yeah. So that morning, you know, and for you, Sher, particularly, you know, your morning energy and mood management, it's quite an involved ritual, right? Because it also involves physical body management. Yes.
Yes.
Which again, that's when you are managing your physical aches and pains. This is attention management, is it not?
Yes, it is. And then, you know what I think
Very
of?
profound
I always think, okay, is this pain an actual real physical joint pain, or is it pain from my emotions or my moods?
Yes. Is it, in other words, is it a physical manifestation of an abstract pain? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, that is
first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, that is attention management right there.
Yeah,
right?
When I feel pain.
Right.
When I feel pain, it's an automatic. What am I stressed about? What's going on?
Yeah.
And if I find that no, I'm calm, there's nothing stressed, nothing has really affected me in the last day or two, then I go, all right, well, maybe it's time for the heating bed then, you know, because if it's anything else, as soon as I write about it or work it out, it goes.
Yes. Sure.
Yes.
This attention management, it's a big topic. When we start paying attention to attention itself, everything changes. We realize that, hey, much of our world is a function of our attention. In your case, you are seeing it in your physical manifestation.
Yep.
This is huge. This is unbelievably huge. Right. And in the same ways with that lady, if you'd given her too much undue attention, you likely would have just gotten that again in your world, because the universe would have said, oh, she didn't learn the lesson that I sent her. Oh, I have to say that again.
Well, if I give negative attention to something that's already negative, it just exacerbates it every single time.
And you get it again, and you get it again, usually, right?
Yeah, and that's when people go, well, this happened, and then this, and this, and that's because you're paying attention to it, people.
Exactly. So paying attention to attention is a huge deal. Attention management is massive. I want to add something. In today's world, right today, in this pause that we in this power pause, right? Attention management becomes even more significant because the world is wavering right now, right?
Yes.
Kind of balancing, it's fibrillating. So what we pay attention to, it determines which way the world is going to shift, right? So you and me and Beena and Sue and Sherry and Erica Jane Ryan and Janelle and all of us, we are the linchpins in this. We don't want to be lynched with a Y,
No.
right? We don't want to be those kind of linchpins. We want to be the other kind, right? So this attention to attention is what's holding the world together. We are the linchpins holding the world together. So we have to be really exquisite with our attention to attention and our attention management. More so than exquisite, we have to be 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
So
like
definitely.
me, when my leg is a little bit funny and I'm going up and down the stairs, I have to be 100% with my attention management.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, I miss a step, I'm going to fall, right?
Yes.
No, sometimes exquisite is not enough. We have to be 100%. So we can't be messing about with attention. We can't be getting involved in negativity. We can't be getting involved in disgruntlement and moods and self-pity and irritation and anger and annoyance. No, This is not the time, because we're going to be feeding that out into the world. And you know what? The world is very fragile right now. Right?
Yeah, it is. And
so we, us, have to keep it together.
Yeah.
It's a big responsibility. Did you know that you were in charge of the world, Sher?
No, I did not.
No, I do. In charge of keeping the world together. That's right. You and me and Beena and everybody.
Then I have to polish my crown because I cannot be seen in a dirty crown.
Precisely. Got to be 100%. Hey. Got to be 100%.
Yeah, I just cannot be seen in a crown that is unsightly.
Exactly. And this goes to private thoughts as well.
This is true.
Oh, crap says too. Oh, crap says Sher.
True.
No.
There is. Before. Oh my gosh! I cannot imagine all the negativity I exuded before. It just
Exactly.
Just not able to.
Now that was then. This is now.
Yeah.
This is now.
But it's just kind of mind-boggling to me, the difference.
Yeah.
It's like a night and day.
Yeah.
It really is. It's kind of cool.
I like sharing what I'm seeing here, but I think my camera's off. There we go.
What you see?
Just the old ghost house. I guess they're working on it now, so they're renovating it. Just the little terraces, of the grass. I don't know.
I like that house.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There are lots of these old houses because it used to be a ghost town. So,
yeah.
Mining town. Yeah, very cool. This is really huge. That private positivity, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. How we think internally, it tends to manifest, it tends to materialize in our worlds around us. So we have to be exquisite with that and be 100% really, which we're training ourselves to be. Is training ourselves to be beyond exquisite, to be 100%. Yeah, that's what impeccability is. Right?
I caught a little bit of Erica's session yesterday before people started bombarding. But the one thing that, and I didn't get to go and address with her or with you guys was, it had to, when she was talking about trust.
Yeah.
About trusting, can she trust?
Yes.
That I can honestly say, I understood exactly what she was talking about. You get to a point where you just know you can trust exactly what it is that you're thinking, even if it's a negative thought. I can trust automatically myself the ability to replace that thought real quick, to shift it.
There you go.
Because I know I have seen it time and time and time again. If you think negative, you're going to live negative.
Correct. You're going to feel negative. You're going to be negatively motivated. You're going to be draining your energy. Yeah.
Yes. It's like then nothing works. I'll drop stuff. I might trip a couple times in a day. All kinds of things go wrong. My mood will go south. Everything.
Exactly. It compounds on itself.
And I've seen it happen in like, yeah. So to me, it's not like, when people say, be careful what you talk about because you can manifest these things. I do agree when you were saying the other day about materializing. I don't see how you can manifest riches. I don't buy into that. But I do buy into the fact that I can materialize
Yes.
a way of living that is so
Yes.
abundant,
Correct. Exactly.
completely abundant.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
because I always insist that no, that there's more to this, that there's more to my life, there's more to
Right.
this day.
Yes. Yes. There's more to this day because there is more to me.
Oh, always.
Yeah. But we go together. There
Yes.
is more to this day because there is more to me.
Because there is more to me. Big smiley
Yes.
face.
Right. Exactly. The two are associated. Oh, what is y'all? Hello. Sorry, I wasn't sure what was on the other side. I don't mean to be rude. I didn't know what was on the other side of the fence, but it's a nice, beautiful yard. So, hello. A nice
Oh.
lady lives here
Aw,
with 2 nice dogs. Yeah. Lots of
there.
nice people here.
I have that in
That's
the right
huge.
place.
That's huge. There's more to the world because there's more to me. I am the world. Didn't you post the I am the world?
I may have. I've got to
Somebody
look.
posted the music video of We Are the World.
Oh no, somebody else did that. Yeah.
Ah, right. But that's the point. We are the world. I am the world. Right?
Yes.
I am. I am.
You know, all of module 7, it was the one module for me anyways, where all 3 sessions just connected one to the other to the other. I mean, kaboom, kaboom, kaboom.
I love it. I love it. I
So
love
it's
it.
one of my favorite ones because when it
Yes.
came to trust, I didn't write a whole lot on it just because it's like, how do I write about trust? How do I describe? Is there a definition to trust? I don't know. All I
Trust is
can
what makes the
do,
world go round. That's all
but
I
I
know.
mean, actually to define it, you know,
Yes.
to
Yes. Let's
translate.
hear. Let's hear your definition. Let's hear.
Well,
Let's
that's the
hear.
problem. I
Hello
couldn't
there.
come up with one.
Ah.
It's my.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello,
how are you?
Steve. I'm good. I was just about to text you.
Oh,
Brilliant. Brilliant.
ah,
Who
perfect.
joined us? Sue. Is Sue joined
Sue?
us?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ah, brilliant. Magical Sue. Magical Sue. I'm walking about a bit here. Enjoying
Oh,
the
cool.
world.
Look at how beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
It is.
Wow.
It is
Yes.
very pretty.
So,
Not that nice here. It's very cold and cloudy. Yeah.
it's windy, but it's nice. What were you saying about the world? What was that line that we just said? I just want to repeat it for Sue.
Oh, as far as like the definition?
No,
The-
I'm the world, the thing.
Oh, somebody shared that, but we were talking about there's more to this day because there's more to the world, you know, more to me.
Right. Right. There's more to the world because there's more to me.
Right.
When we make that association, this is something really, hello. This is something really exciting. Oh, I'm going down here. More neighbors. More neighbors. Yeah, there's more to the world because there's more to me. This is huge. All right, so we were on the point of defining trust.
Yeah, defining trust, and I don't know how to define it. So you know, to me, it's all kinds of things. It's my state of being. It's my
But the definition of trust itself.
What's that?
Wouldn't
I
trust,
know.
Yeah, wouldn't trust be an expectation of positive result or outcome, consequence, an expectation of future positivity?
Okay.
Or that things will turn out okay?
Okay. Or
Right?
trust that. No, you can't see that you trust that you know something.
It's an acceptance. It's an acceptance.
Trust is an acceptance.
Right, that's it. Capital A, acceptance. Right? I mean, there's an implication to this acceptance. We are accepting that things will turn out, that things will work out, things will come right, that there's more to things, that there's more that we can see. More than that, we are accepting and trusting that we are more, that we will be able to apply, that we can rely on ourselves to be appropriate. This is a huge, huge, huge point. I love it that you're here, Sue.
So it's also, I mean, it's also action. It's not just wishing for something to happen.
We are trusting. No, it's got nothing to do with wish.
No.
We are trusting that our actions of now will yield a result that we are happy with in the future. We are trusting that when we cannot make actions, when it's beyond us, we are trusting that things will work out.
Yes.
But to define trust itself is to accept and to expect that things will work out.
An appropriate outcome. Okay.
Exactly. To an appropriate outcome. Exactly. It's an expectation of an appropriate outcome. Exactly.
That's one of those words you never think about the definition of. You just take it for granted. That's
why we have a dictionary of power, and one of our tasks later is going to be, Sue doesn't know it yet, but we are going to be writing these detailed delineations, exactly what we did now. We are going to do this very deliberately and have a whole huge long thing about doing it. So,
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
I gotta go for a few minutes. So before going there, I want to share something because in the beginning you shared that when we take something for granted, we are stuck there. And I was continuously thinking about that because when you shared that and I asked you and you explained it again, my mind was not able to get it completely. But of course, I had a belief that yes, you are saying that and it makes sense. So I was trying to make it easy for myself. And so I want to share what I got it. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Please do.
Yeah, but for me, when we say that, when we take anything for granted, it means that we are avoiding that.
Oh, very
good. It is
good.
not exactly for taking for granted, but to avoid that. And why we avoid anything? Out of fear, out of guilt, out of shame. These are, and some more could be the reason to avoid anything. And if we avoid something, it means that we are not there completely. Again, it makes sense that we are stuck there.
Yes.
No full ownership.
Right. So that it's also avoiding trust then at that point. You're not trusting yourself.
Exactly. Sher puts it together. Beautiful.
Because I was continuously thinking about, because my mind was somehow not able to get it when you said that, taking for granted. I said, why we take anything for granted and we are stuck there? If you're taking it for granted, by implication, it means that, it is something, easy peasy thing. We can take it and we can do it. We are good with that. But no, for me, the word was when we avoid something, we are stuck there.
Right.
And why we avoid, it means that somehow we have fear or something like that, or guilt or shame or whatever. So we are avoiding learning there. We are avoiding experiencing those aspects of our lives or a part of our personality or whatever it is. So Sher, thank you so much. If I get it right, it is a huge deal.
You did get it right. You did get it right. And that's just because, like I said, that and probably what I meant by taking for granted is that's when I absolutely am to my point of that's it, there's no more, nothing is ever going to change, I'm never going to change, I'm never going to be a good person, really believing those things. And I would just take it for granted. I took it for granted that I was all those things when indeed I wasn't. So I wasn't trusting. So you're right. I was avoiding trusting myself, avoiding awareness, avoiding the moreness of me.
Awful truth.
And I was just accepting, I was accepting blindly everything that I had been told and believed about me. So yes, it was an everyday taking it for granted. And I was stuck. I was just stuck. I was stuck in that taking for granted, nothing is ever going to change.
Yes.
So if you get to that point, why even bother changing? Right? I mean, that was my mindset. Now, Now it's kind of, well, I don't like how that feels, so that's got to change.
Yes, and when we look at this obdurateness, right?
Yes.
We
Yes.
look at this quality of being obdurate, and we apply it, and we apply association management to it. We realize that obdurateness inside, and this resistance to change, it comes from this denial of reality. This what you were saying, this taking for grantedness, right?
Yes.
When we
Yes.
take things for granted, that's when we, because of course, taking things for granted is just to avoid dealing with the awful truth. When
Yes.
we can say that, we can move on, and everything shifts. Now, change becomes a joy and not a negative, right?
Yeah, especially if you come from that point of believing that there is no answer, believing there's no solution, no way out, then you're already done before you even start to
Beliefs.
exactly. So
Right. Sure. Did
yeah.
you make those 4 lists? The lists of
I'm still
past.
working on. Well, I'm still working on those.
Okay, good. Okay, because that belief list is huge,
Yes.
and
Yeah, it
the
is.
intent list. Okay, but the belief list is particularly huge. So, okay, good.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
it is a long-term project. That's a
Yes.
project that could take a couple of years, depending on how much you want to get into it. But yeah, it's a big deal.
Okay, just one more thing.
Okay.
That when I was sharing my perspective, and I was also practicing receptivity, capital R receptivity, and
Mm,
having a trust that whatever you were sharing, it makes sense to me.
yes.
And I just made it like deliberately. I set an intent that yes, whatever Sher is sharing right now, though I'm not getting it, but it makes sense. And then if it makes sense, it means that I will get a resolution out of it. So I was thinking it through to the end, and this is what I was applying, all these things, all the steps. I'm sharing just what I've done with that. So thank you. Thank you
Thank
to
you.
give me that opportunity to practice these.
Yeah. Receptivity, capital R, Sophie receptivity.
Yes.
That's huge. That's huge.
Okay, I gotta go
Thank
for a
you,
few
Beena.
minutes. I'll be here again. I don't want to
Okay.
miss more.
No, brilliant,
Okay, I'll
brilliant.
be here.
And okay, where are we, Sue? Because sure, sorry, I don't know where we at. Sorry, I lost track a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. I was we were talking about trust in session 2, the capital T trust.
Yeah.
So that's why I started out talking about what the definition of trust is, and we kind of fleshed that out. The one thing about trust for me, I would not have made any of the decisions that I have made recently, in particular, had I not been practicing self-trust. I couldn't buy into energy management, acceptance, receptivity, any of this. That I just really feel like I would not be where I am in this moment if I were not trusting myself. It genuinely has affected my confidence. I mean, trusting myself kind of comes hand in hand with self-love. If I love myself, then I'm trusting myself, because I don't see how I can possibly love something that I don't trust. And it's not a believing in me. It's a genuine like and appreciation of everything that I am, dark and light, both together, and all the gray in between. So it's also developing my character, which is something I never gave credence to before.
Yes, and your character is your constant.
Yeah, I never thought about my character before. I always just, there again, I took that for granted as well, that I am who I am. Oh, no, I'm not. I might be who I am, but I'm telling you what, this I am, she changes every single day. So
yes, but your character is your constant, yes?
Yes.
Right.
Who I am at my core. Who I am at my core.
Exactly. It's a constant. Your character is your constant.
Right.
Now, let me ask you something. Do you trust this constant that is your character?
Oh, implicitly.
Exactly. Now we say this is where self-trust comes from. trust in the constant, which is our magical character that we've worked so hard on tuning, refining, adding to.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. All right.
And
So
that's it.
now, let me ask you this: when this constant of your character, when you really trust it, doesn't your life suddenly become easy?
Uh-huh. Yeah. You
Yeah,
know what?
totally. It's like
Huh.
duh. It's like
Perfect.
duh. I want to
Perfect.
ask the
Perfect.
same question of Sue real quick, please, Sure, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Sue, do you trust the constant, which is your character?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
You know, and asking that question is very important to actually ask and answer, to not just hear it, but to have it asked and answered. This is very important. It really makes a difference, because when you say yes, it's making the obvious obvious. Right? Is he needing your attention, sir?
What's that?
Is CJ
No.
needing your attention? Oh,
No, he was for just a moment there.
that's magical. This is a magical thing. This trust in our character, not our abilities, our character. Abilities come and go. Character always stay.
Yes.
And now, furthermore, do you realize now, when we've been talking about this realization and becoming aware of our moreness, you realize that, oh my goodness, you know what? My character was always there.
That's it right there. I was just going to tell you that. That's what, okay, that was my big exciting aha
You
moment.
pulled it out of me. You pulled it out of me. I saw it on your awareness here in your forehead there.
This is something that's been coming to me more and more lately. And that's why I said, you know, I don't want to, and we probably differ a little bit on our definition of change, but I don't want to change who I am.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
I really,
Yes.
I dig
Yes.
this person inside.
Yes. 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 There's no
the
need
whoever
to
she is,
change your essential character.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because that was always good. I always had good intents, regardless of what I was doing.
Exactly. What we can change is the implementation of our character, right?
Yes.
The practice of it, the exhibition of it, the sharing of it, right?
Yes. And that's what I did yesterday. That's exactly what happened yesterday. I just, boom, it was an automatic. Well, I'm sorry, you know, nobody's going to poop on me that way. So I took care of me, but in a very appropriate way. So.
How awesome is that? How awesome is that?
Yeah, that I took care of. I protected myself. I looked after my peace. I mean, my business and myself and my integrity and all of that. So that was always there. Yeah. But I now also have the confidence, because of trust and self-love, I have that confidence to be able to act on situations like that with total impeccability.
And that's something. That's something.
Well, it is, because it just, that was always what other people did. It wasn't what Sherry did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so this is really kind of cool.
Yeah. And then we realize impeccability is its own reward.
Exactly. It truly, truly is.
Yeah.
It truly is. So for me, my waste of energy would be not trusting my impeccability. Not trusting it. That is a huge waste of my energy.
Exactly.
And that comes out of self-doubt. And I don't think I've had a self-doubt day in a good solid couple of weeks, which is really pretty cool.
Wow. That is unbelievably huge. That's magical.
No self-doubts in a few weeks. I mean, something might go back there and go, oh, is that a good decision?
Right.
Then it's usually, well, let's think about this.
Right. When we question our actions in terms of intent and impeccability, this isn't self-doubt.
Nope.
This isn't lack of self-trust. This is just impeccability in action. When I'm saying, am I being real? What is my intent here? Oh, that's just impeccability. It's not self-doubt. Very big difference. Very big difference.
That's why I ask those two questions every day. Am I being real? What's my intent?
When we take the effort to be impeccable, self-doubt and lack of self-trust doesn't come into things.
That is such, it's not an energizing feeling. It's a really calm, empowering, strengthening.
Calm.
Calm is what happens to me when that happens. And then I all of a sudden will catch myself. I'm going, how come you're not feeling anything right now, Cher?
But this is the magic that we are looking to acquire, which is peace of being.
Yes.
Peace of being, with hyphens, one word, like peace of being.
Yeah.
We are looking for this. And when we have this acceptance of our own moreness, of our own impeccability, of our own sensibility, that we are at peace with our character, this is what counts. Behavior is a variable. This is a constant process. Character, something else. Our character is not really up for question.
No.
Never has been, never was.
No.
Very simple. Very simple.
Regardless of what I've done,
this is what we base our
character.
trust on. Exactly. On our goodness of character.
Exactly.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. That's huge.
So,
Beautiful.
and that's what prompted this whole module is what prompted my post about I ask the questions I need to ask. And doing appropriately what is right for me only. I mean, there's certain circumstances where, yes, I'm going to have to really consider the other person, business transaction, CJ, that kind of thing. But overall, if something isn't appropriate for me, I just really trust that it's not going to be appropriate for somebody else.
Exactly. Not take things for granted again. Don't take for granted that works for you, works for somebody else. That's just arrogance.
Yes.
Since you are on your taking for granted thing today. I mean, this is a huge concept, this taking for granted.
It is.
It's a very, very big deal.
It's not, it's something that stays in the forefront for me now. I mean, several of these things do. Several of these conceptions or ways of being have really, just the last day or two, really just kind of kept popping up at me. Trust, awareness, understanding. Compassion is always there. That's constant flow through me. But always asking the questions and not being afraid to ask them, not being afraid, because you gave me that permission the other day. And that just felt so wonderful to hear that, it's okay if you get things a little slower, and it didn't give me permission to lean into the past. Instead, what it told me was that my way of learning is acceptable. And then I accepted it. And I was like, well, okay, he's right. I can accept this because I'm not like everybody else. I am totally unique and different. I learn some things faster. If it's creative, I learn it real quick. if it's vocabulary, book words, things like that, something has to really resonate with me and make sense before I snag it and call it my own. Don't know why, and that's okay. But I realize that if I don't ask the questions, I'm never going to get an answer. If I don't ask questions myself, I'm never going to find out for myself. Going back to Beena's, discussion about the joy of learning. That's kind of what I was taking out of it. Joy of learning and how we learning by ourselves.
When we really tap into the joy of learning. Oh, sorry,
right. And I'm not going to learn if I'm not asking questions. So.
And that's something. And questions become a joy, not a fear.
Or not to think that I'm going to be embarrassed for sounding, awkward or whatever.
If it's embarrassed, that's a fear. Awkward, that's a fear.
Exactly.
Right? When questions become this magical joy. Why?
Yes.
Why? That's something.
Oh, that's the other magical thing. So I haven't felt fear.
Wow.
And I don't remember how long.
Wow. Celebrating change, celebrating progression, exactly. I mean, yes, it is change, but it's a change in reactivity. And it's a change in how you're interacting with the world, not in who you are.
Yeah.
That's it. It was simply that you had all the magic. It was just being misapplied, right?
Yes. That's it right there. Honestly. It was just
the application of our magic.
Just being misapplied, and the energy was being spent elsewhere, spent on worry, spent on fear, spent on self-doubt.
Energy draining points. Right.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes.
Isn't that something? Wow.
I don't know,
Wow.
shifting into all of that awareness, into that, the whole state of being, of, you know, being flexible, being fluid. And when I wrote you a nice little poem on as a response to where you were talking about flexible fluidity and just being open to
Right.
all of our
Fluid
feelings.
reality. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
fluid reality. When
Wow.
I read it, the thought came to me, I am a river. I am just a river.
Interesting.
Yes, I saw myself as you were, as I read that, as a river. And it's like, okay, Sherry, why a river? Well, because I can be a force, a life force, life-giving, calm, sometimes a little chaotic, but always moving, always changing. So that, and we have a lot of rivers here, so kind of attached to rivers. But they're
Isn't that something?
yeah, I
Isn't that
I
something?
saw all that. For me, my life is definitely like a river. It's just never stops flowing. It never quits.
Yes. Yes. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love
So
it. I love it.
that
I
is
love it. Publisher.
well, actually, I love the name River for one. You know, there's actually, you know, people. What, River Phoenix, is that his name or something? Maybe it's a stage name, but it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. River Phoenix. Yeah. Yeah.
So there was a sentence I wrote in there, you know, making this all make sense. And that was like in session 3. But what did I write in my takeaway? There's a sentence in here. Oh, that none of what I've been going through, none of this is about letting go. None of it. Because I don't want to let anything go. It's just about letting through. Because, you know, I've always struggled with feelings.
Yes.
So it's not about letting go. It's about letting things through, or
Exactly.
trusting in the feelings that I have allowed to surface through my own awareness. And to me, that is the freedom to write my life story.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that was
you're the author of your own story.
Yes.
As we all are. Yeah. 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 How incredible is that?
So that's it.
How incredible is that?
Sherry is done with like module 7.
Oh, I love it. You did all 3 now, all in one go?
Yep, we did, because they were I didn't have but that one question, and that was on taking for granted. So but that's been answered, and I'm really settled with this particular module because I've been writing about it for, I don't know, several days.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love your post too, you know. Your exemplification of the journey. And that's what, when I asked you to post and share them, said, write about your journey. That's what you're doing now. You're writing about your journey, your personal journey, right?
Yeah, and that's what my next books are on, is the journey.
Right.
I've been recording by video the little robin. You know, we were talking about robining. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted it into the group. But I made a video of the mama robin over couple of days over the past few days, building her nest.
Brilliant.
And I wrote on there that the robin and I are both saying that we are relevant. We're making this our home. This is our home. We're here to stay. We're relevant.
Fantastic. Oh,
so you can go watch it. It's just a short little 30, 40 seconds.
I probably did already. I watch everything you post, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Or at least I read and check everything you post.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't see the one of the robining now that I can think of it, but yeah, I'll see.
Yeah.
Love it. I'll take it again.
Okay, well, Miss Sherry is finished. I need to get some.
Brilliant. Yes, I was gonna say, and also, you know, naps are huge. You know, don't forget to take naps when you can.
When I can. I've got CJ here, so I have to, you know, sometimes I really have to work hard with him to make sure that he's going to stay in and behave if grandma naps. So.
Right.
He just gets too curious for his own good.
Yeah. No, naps need to be absolutely, thoroughly, and totally respected.
Yes.
Naps are a very precious and magical thing. So naps is respect practice time. Brilliant.
Okay,
I
sir.
love it, sir. I love it. We'll see you tomorrow's open day. So anytime in the morning,
Okay.
from 8 your time, anytime. Open day.
All right.
We love
Can do.
open day. Fantastic.
All right.
Fantastic.
See you
Love it. I
soon.
love it.
See you, Sher.
Bye-bye, sir.
Have a great day, hon.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.